I hope people understand that I understand how fucked up that was and that it wasn't right, and like I regretted it immediately. For all I know, that could literally be have been made in like a factory that doesn't have ethical working conditions. As far as feeling like I was scammed from them, I try not to use the word scam because there's so many like legal loopholes to it, but I feel like they definitely misled me. I'm down to like figure it out, and that's why I haven't like said anything yet, because I'd like to actually figure it out before I say that I'm going to figure it out.
Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a splendid day, and as you can probably tell, today's video is going to be a little bit different because rather than giving commentary over a specific topic, today I'm actually going to be interviewing a YouTuber that I've spoken about recently, and that is Gabbie Hanna. Now, Gabbie has been the centre of YouTube controversy lately, so let me just give you a quick explanation before this interview begins. Basically, a few months ago, two YouTubers, Gabbie Hanna and Tana, were promoting a makeup company called Kenza Cosmetics on their Instagram story. The products that they were promoting were mainly makeup brushes, and the makeup brushes that Kenza Cosmetics were displaying on their website appeared to be of high quality brushes. I personally don't know too much about makeup, as you'll probably learn in this video, but in general, the makeup brushes that they were promoting seemed to be good quality, but then a problem occurred when after a few months after they promoted this brand and this company, basically a lot of their fans came out and started to say that they haven't got their brushes, or they have actually received their brushes and it turned out they were Chinese imports from AliExpress. And the reason that this is a problem and has been regarded as a scam is pretty clear. A lot of people didn't get the products that they purchased, but also everyone went to buy these brushes because at the time they believed that they were getting $80 brushes, when in reality they were getting cheap $1 Chinese imports from AliExpress. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be the best of situations for anyone here. So given that a lot of people believed that they were scams, people started coming out and making their own videos, commentators started coming out and basically complaining and attacking Gabbie Hanna, and eventually Gabbie Hanna actually responded to all of the criticism, all of the people that were genuinely upset with her for good reason. I'm not going to say they weren't upset, because personally, I wasn't even involved in this, but I was also upset because as a YouTuber, it's genuinely disappointing to see when somebody has appeared to have scammed their fans, like when Zoella did, and now with Gabbie Hanna. I was genuinely disappointed, and I made my own 26-minute long video about this situation. And now that video went down pretty well, but the thing is, a few days after I uploaded that video, I actually got contacted by Gabbie Hanna, and she basically asked me if I wanted to do pretty much an interview about the whole situation so we could explain the things that haven't actually been explained and explain other things to do with her Instagram stories and the allegations of bullying. Now, before I even play this interview, I just want to clarify that if you've come to this video expecting me to insult Gabbie in this interview or to just in general be a dick to her, you've come to the wrong channel. I'm not going to do that. I am going to ask all of the hard questions, all of the questions that need to be asked about if people did in the end get all of the products that they ordered, and if she believes that she actually did scam her audience. So without further ado, let's get into things. Hey guys, I'm here with Gabbie, and today, as I said just now, we're going to be doing an interview about the recent controversy and drama surrounding her to do with the alleged scam to do with Kenza Cosmetics. So, hey Gabbie, this is a bit different for me personally.
I think you're gonna do great.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never really been on the spectrum of interviewing somebody about like recent drama. It's a bit different when it's like you talking about somebody and they message you saying, "Hey, do you want to do this?" and to actually talk about it. It's always a bit of a weird one. Yeah, getting straight into it. So, with the Kenza Cosmetics drama, which I briefly just explained in this video, you made a response video about all of the people, I guess, calling you out and the whole situation about it. Some of your fans coming out saying that they hadn't received their products, some saying they had received their products and the products they got were Chinese imports. My first question is, how did you think this whole situation was going to unfold? Did you think it got blown out of proportion? Did you expect it to go this big?
I think what happened was, in the beginning, I thought that it was being blown out of proportion, and because I didn't know the full scope of what was going on which I know sounds incredibly hypocritical because my whole thing was like, it took so long to answer because I wanted to like get the facts and figure out what was actually going on. I like to gather facts and information and actually know what I'm talking about before I speak on something.
Now that is fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. And like a lot of other YouTubers, Gabbie Hanna does her research.
I didn't research that, and honestly, I didn't think to research that.
That clip is 4 minutes apart from the previous clip.
But what I meant by that was, okay, first of all, I don't watch videos about me, ever.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, like it's kind of hard to like sit through like 20 minutes of somebody like talking about you, and I've always made it a habit to not, because once you get into the habit of watching it, you could literally spend all day just kind of falling into yourself. So I didn't watch the videos about it. I saw that they were out there, like I saw somebody named Markie posted one, but I didn't actually watch the video.
Right now, I'm drinking a real Red Bull. A real Red Bull. And if you want to help understand how much of a big deal that is to me, that's probably the same equivalent of Gabbie Hanna getting paid thousands of dollars to promote a scam. So I mean, I'm really living life right now.
So what I was going off of was the tweets that I was getting, the DMs that I was getting from followers saying like, can you please address this scam? People are saying they ordered their brushes and that they didn't get them. And then I DM'd Gabriel Zamora and I was just like, what's going on with this? He was like, yeah, like you order your brushes, you don't get them. So to me, the only problem that I knew of was people thinking that they weren't gonna get their brushes. So then when people started getting their brushes, it bothered me because it felt at the time like it was like aimless hate. So the way I responded was coming from a place of like frustration and anger and feeling like, oh, this is just one of those things where the internet gets upset about something just because they're bored. And that's what I was approaching it as. Because I think, like, we all kind of know that on YouTube and, like, in media in general that there's always something happening. And obviously this isn't, like, the first thing I've been involved in. So at this time, I was just already so, like, worked up about other shit that I'm like, okay, this is a thing that's happening. People are telling me that, like, they're not getting their brushes, but when they get their brushes, that they're not, like, whatever. So then after I posted that first video, I logged off the internet for a week. Like I like backed off, I wasn't reading, I wasn't whatever. And I didn't realize that there was more problems until a friend who's in the internet reached out to me and he was just like, do you know about like all of this shit? And I was like, no.
So do you not first, did you not get any like Instagram comments or anything about this? Because like for me personally,
hard not to.
Ah, okay. See, obviously in my eyes, that's like a naive thing to do. As like somebody that makes commentary videos, like I guess I'm like, my videos are more about like analyzing stuff and like this kind of like psychology of things that goes on with YouTubers. And I remember saying in my video, I don't believe that you've deliberately gone out of your way to scam your fans. And I'm not just saying that because we're here in the interview now. I'm pretty sure I said that something on that lines, but I definitely think the whole thing was like very naive. Like I said, I think you're quite out of touch.
I agree. It was super naive. And I think with me, like I'm so extreme that I used to be so obsessed with comments and I was always monitoring shit, and then it got to a point like I'm in like therapy and they're just like, you gotta fucking stop reading the comments. Like my friends like, you have to stop reading the comments. Like I'm really bad at like balance, if that makes sense. So I went from I was so intertwined with this world to like I post and go. Like when I post a YouTube video, I watch it for the first like couple hours, I respond to like my most dedicated subscribers who are there within the first couple hours, and then I don't look at it usually until when I upload the next week. So I just wanted to like post it and leave, and that's what I did, and that was a massive mistake, especially because it was like a scandal and things that people were upset about. But at that point I was still just, I was like hiding from it, if that makes sense. Like I was just like angry and upset and not listening to the actual problem.
Yeah, which obviously you can't really do when you have like a platform of, I think you've got around 6 million subs.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So when this whole thing was unfolding and you started to find out about it, did you originally think that commentary channels like myself, Markie, Angelika, Oles were blowing the whole thing out of proportion? Did you think that, okay, maybe people weren't happy with what they got, but they're going a bit too far on this? Because when it was all unfolding, I got to the topic I'd say like a week late, because I heard about it and I saw it was everywhere. But personally, I'm not really one that's like interested in makeup drama, but that's all I thought it was. I thought it was like, okay, people aren't happy with the quality, but it turns out they're actually meant to be Chinese imports. So my question is, did you know that the quality was actually that bad with the brushes? Because how I think a sponsor works is a company will go to a big YouTuber and they'll be like, hey, we've got these products, we'll pay you this amount to advertise them on your channel. And obviously that's appealing to anyone because you're getting paid to advertise something for like a 30-second clip. But did you get sent the products before you advertised them?
And that's what I try to show in the video. And the thing that's like, I'm very like cautious to say this because I don't want this to sound like I'm like passing blame or whatever it is, but like my products that I got, I genuinely like a lot. Like I still use them. I can go show you how dirty they are in my makeup brushes. They're just like, they're decent quality. Like I would say like e.l.f. or like Eco Tools. I'm sure you don't know what that means, but I liked mine a lot. And I'm wondering if like I got sent a product that wasn't the same product that everybody else was getting, because I think that that's probably something that could, you know how people say like PR is like nicer than the actual product. But I think more so what's like over the quality of the brushes, the thing that I wasn't taking into consideration was the fact that the website was marketing them as marked down from this price to this price. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't even look at what, like, I mean, I saw it because I opened the website, but I wasn't looking at it like, oh wow, they said these brushes were $60 and now they're $0. Because when I look at stuff like that, and this isn't the assumption that I should have made for everybody, when I look at that, I'm like, oh, that's clearly not an $80 brush set. That's a marketing tactic. People always, like, every website marks down their prices to make it look like it was overmarked and now it's marked down, whatever. But just because I assumed that doesn't mean that like my 13-year-old audience or older audience is looking at it like that. Like they were looking at it as I'm going to get $80 brushes. In my head, I was just like, okay, $10 for like these brushes, dope. Like I would pay that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's the main reason everyone was mad. That's why I personally think this situation was bad, because in your response video, your first one before you talked about leaving things in 2018, you said something, you said on the lines of you didn't realize that people were getting imports or fakes or Chinese things from China pretty much.
No, I don't think I said that.
No, I'm pretty sure you said something like people were calling you out for it and you go, I didn't like look at that. You didn't do the research to find that. But then...
Oh no, I was saying I didn't know that they were sold on AliExpress. So some people were pointing out that these brushes were sold on AliExpress for much cheaper. And to that I'll say I didn't know that. I didn't research that, and honestly I didn't think to research that, and that's something I'm definitely going to be a little more careful about. Again, the problem I don't think is the quality of the brushes or the fact that they are Chinese imports. The problem is they were being advertised as $80 brushes, and that was something that I should have been like, okay, this is misleading, and just because I'm assuming something doesn't mean my audience is going to assume something. They're going to look at this and say these are $80 brushes and then get Chinese imports.
And that's because they'll do that because obviously your audience trusts you. You've been around on YouTube for quite a long time, I'm pretty sure. And obviously your audience are going to trust you. And I think you definitely broke that barrier of trust when this whole thing happened. And even if that wasn't intentional, I think people expect you to do more research than you actually did. And you said in the video in your response, you do research, but then you also said you didn't know that they were being sold on AliExpress.
I like to gather facts and information and actually know what I'm talking about before I speak on something. I didn't research that, and honestly, I didn't think to research that.
I understand that if a sponsor was to come to you, your instant thought wouldn't be, well, I better go check if these were on AliExpress. But I guess when you're advertising a product at a channel of your size, you probably should maybe do background checks, get somebody else to do a check for you, like a few hours.
100%. That is 100% true, and that's why I feel like stupid as fuck about it. And it's also made me realize like I need to stop like doing this shit on my own. Like realistically, I'm not an expert on this shit. Like I should have a manager who's doing this shit, and then if you don't, you make dumbass fucking mistakes like this, and then you hurt people that trust you. And I guess like you're right, it was like a very like naive thing where if I'm getting a product and I like it and I think it's like an okay price for me, that's like, okay, $10 for a product I like. But you're right, there's so much more to it. Like I didn't look at, like, for all I know, that could literally be have been made in like a factory that doesn't have ethical working conditions. Like that's something that I should take into consideration. I should be looking at these products and like seeing where they come from and who made them. And that was something that I didn't realize that people were upset about in the beginning until after I posted the video, because I really thought that the problem was people weren't getting their brushes, and that's the only thing I addressed, is because when people got their brushes, I was like, people got their brushes, you know?
So with people not getting their brushes and people getting their brushes, this is something I still don't personally know. Did everyone get all the brushes in the end? Because a lot of people on Twitter were saying that I haven't got my brushes, it's been 3 months or 2 months, and a lot of people were coming out and saying that they actually had to pay $30 shipping fee, which I never saw any evidence. So I saw a lot of commentators coming out saying, oh, what, this person said they had to be charged $30, but there was never any proven evidence. And I'm not saying, oh, well, that automatically makes everything right. But do you think a lot of people blew out of proportion? Do you think personally that I blew out of proportion?
You know I didn't watch your video.
But I mean, to do a 27-minute long video, because I think I'm pretty sure that's how long my video was, because it was a breakdown of the whole thing. And I thought, do you think for somebody to do a 27-minute video on that, do you personally agree with that? Or do you think that's not right? Do you think I'm personally doing that for self-gain?
Well, I mean, I think obviously on YouTube there's always a level of self-gain, but I don't think that the intention of, I would say most of the people making these videos, I don't think that the intention is just to attack somebody. You know what I mean? I think that people saw something that they didn't like. They thought it wasn't right. There's a lot of young people who are upset. There are people who are spending their money, and it is something to be talked about. I don't think that people are just like, I mean, I think there's some people who are just like, fuck Gabbie, I hate her, but no, I don't think that you were being malicious, just because I know your content personally, so I know that you're generally pretty fair, and if you were to like make a video about something, that it would have a reason to it. And plus it's something that like everybody's talking about, and there are a lot of layers to it. It is like, okay, well, like these are misadvertised and like people aren't getting them and the quality is not what they said and blah 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 blah. So no, I think anytime people are like spending money on something and then not getting the service or the product that they're expecting, it's worth talking about. Sorry, that was like so wordy.
No, it's fine. I understand, because like it is a pretty weird question. I don't think it's something a lot of people ask, because I personally always wonder it myself. The people I'm making videos on, do they think I'm just doing it out of malicious intent? And obviously, there's always, I think people are lying when they say, oh, I only do this purely because of enjoyment. Obviously, people want self-gain. Like that's like nothing to be ashamed of. It's YouTube at the end of the day. It is a site built on narcissism. Like wherever anyone wants to admit it, most people are happy when they're getting subs and views and stuff.
Well, if you don't admit it, you're also delusional.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you don't admit it, you're probably a narcissist. But there was, have you actually spoken to Kenza Cosmetics during this whole thing?
No, I have, and that's why. Okay, actually, go back to your last question. In the beginning, for sure, I thought that this was just something that people were trying to run with, and that's why you saw that in my video. Because when I first saw, the first thing I saw was this tweet from this girl who is like a follower who I've seen in my feed before and is like supportive, and she's just like, can you please address this scam? And the only reason I thought people were asking me about it was because Tana had also done it.
Partnering with Kenza Cosmetics, and they are doing a promotion right now where all of their makeup brushes are free. All you have to do is pay the shipping. I'm obsessed with so many of them, and they're really high quality brushes, and literally all you have to do is pay shipping. So swipe up to check them out. Shout out Kenza Cosmetics.
I hate saying this, but like I thought, oh shit, now I'm getting like lumped in with that, because no matter what Tana does, it's always going to be a problem, and now I'm just getting lumped in with it because Tana did it, and that's why it's a story.
Do you think that Tana, like personally, do you think that you and Tana deserved equal heat? Because I've noticed that Markie, the YouTuber that made 2 videos on you, he's spoken about you both equally in my eyes. But I feel like Tana, in a way, kind of got away with it, because she didn't really address it that much.
She didn't address it, yeah. And that's honestly like one of the like conundrums of YouTube, is everybody wants you to talk about it, but then when you talk about it, it kind of gets worse. So you kind of get rewarded for staying silent. But to go back to Kenza, well, I saw this girl who tweeted at me, who was like a supporter, and I was just like, the way she said it was like, can you please address the Kenza Cosmetics scam that like you and Tana did? I'm pretty sure that's what she said. And then I DM'd her, because she followed me, and I just like DM'd her, and I was just like, yo, tell me what's up. And she was like, this is basically the breakdown of like, they're saying that you get your brushes, or like you pay for shipping, but then you never actually get your product. And I was like, okay, hold on. I screenshotted everything. I sent it to Kenza Cosmetics, and I was like, are you aware of this? Because I was about to do another deal with Kenza. And they were just like, we're so shocked to see this. We assure you that this is absolutely not the case. We've been upfront about everything from the beginning. People are absolutely getting their packages. Like, we have a lot of like happy customers that we can like show you, blah, 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 blah. And then I sent them more DMs. And then they were like, you know, we're kind of like offended that you're questioning us. Like, we've been really professional with you up until this point. So like for you to come to us and like kind of say this is a scam, like whatever. So then it was just sort of like, they really pulled the wool over my eyes too, and saying that like, they're like, you know, we've always been upfront about the shipping times, but then I saw later people were talking about like the shipping times changed and stuff like that. So I was answering everything based on what Kenza was telling me, which, I mean, I chose to believe a company over people on Twitter, which at the time felt like the right thing to do. And now I'm realizing like, damn, Kenza fucking sucks.
Is it pretty much confirmed that they lied to you in a way? Because a lot of people think that you've lied to your fans, and it did seem in your video that you did lie to your fans in a way about the whole, you got your products and you instantly thought that everyone else got their products. And when you first see your response video, you can easily take out that you're in a way being manipulative in that video. Even if it isn't intentional, people think that. I think that when I first saw it and when I made my video on it. So do you think that this is, I mean, a lot of people, if you, however you answer this, are going to take this the wrong way, but do you think that you kind of got scammed by Kenza? Because we spoke about this briefly yesterday, and I was wondering what your whole thoughts are with just in general how they treated you in the situation. Because there's a difference between being a company and being like a spokesperson, because technically you were like the spokesperson, you were saying go buy this product, and you don't know what's going on the higher ends of a company like that. I've never even heard of Kenza, and I've heard of a lot of makeup brands despite not being interested. Personally, I'd never heard of them up until this point, and when I saw the fact they were really so delayed on deliveries, I thought that was shady. And I also just come to the conclusion that they were saying that it would take around a month to deliver some of the products. I thought, well, is that because they're delivering them from another continent in China? I think that they had bought some Chinese imports and they needed to ship them off all around the world. They were literally shipping them across continents. So obviously that's going to take a long time. If you've ever ordered something off AliExpress, you know for a fact it takes about a month to get the thing you bought.
What I've learned since then is that there's what's called a dropshipping company, which in of itself isn't a scam, but like if they're not being upfront about the times on the page, which they told me in the emails, like we've been upfront about the shipping, that's why it takes so long. So basically they were getting the orders, and then once they get the orders, they were ordering, if I'm wrong about this, sorry, but this is to my understanding. So they would get the orders, then they would order from China, and then they would get the orders, and then they would ship out the orders. So I was under the impression that they already bought wholesale, which again, in of itself is not like a scam or a crime. That's what wholesale is, but they were doing it in a way where they couldn't fulfill their orders. And I think that's where the the problem came from it. But as far as feeling like I was scammed from them, I try not to use the word scam because there's so many like legal loopholes to it, but I feel like they definitely misled me. I feel like they, you know what? No, like they told me that all the shit that I was sending them wasn't true. And yeah.
So you were lied to. You were definitely lied to by Kenza.
Yeah, because like I literally am looking at the DMs. Like this girl says people buy their products, they never get the email and stuff, and I sent it to them, and they're just like, this sounds so weird. First of all, don't worry, we can prove all orders with proof of shipping, blah, 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 blah. And there's like this long email saying, we take this very seriously, our image is so important to us, you know, we've been nothing but professional. And like, see, I'm getting like nervous talking like this because it sounds like I'm trying to blame Kenza, but like, dude.
It doesn't necessarily avoid everything, because I still do think that you should have, like, because you said you don't watch YouTube videos much, like you don't watch the community really, you don't really take a look at these sort of scandals involving yourself, because naturally it's going to be hard to look at somebody basically ripping into you for 20 minutes. You've recently been, like, I'd say one of the most, like, not like in your own essence, but you have been like a big controversy with your like singing videos and with this.
Maybe I'm the monster.
I don't want to be too harsh on Gabbie. I mean, everyone's being really mean in the comments, going like, oh, she can't sing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, let's be real here. So many artists can't sing. That hasn't stopped anyone. So keep doing what you're doing, Gabbie, because the memes are great.
Is it a case of just that you can't watch any videos, or is it just these sort of videos? Because again, we spoke about this briefly yesterday, of the whole basic thing around integrity, and this whole thing is technically questioning your integrity, and your integrity definitely has been damaged on this. Whether even if Kenza are like in the wrong here, and you were just misled, your integrity still will be damaged because you should have done more research. You should have, in general,
100%,
looked at the situation better.
First of all, when I see, I don't know if people are gonna be like upset with me about this, but like if I see a video with my like face on the thumbnail, I will like click show me less videos like this, not interested, whatever. And I don't know if that's like a normal thing to do, but for like who I am and like the way my brain works, I can't see it, I can't look at it. But it also got to a point where like I don't get on YouTube at all anymore. So I haven't logged on to YouTube since I posted my last video. Before that, I haven't logged on to YouTube since I posted the video before that. So I don't watch any YouTube.
Is that like a general thing? You just upload and you go? Or is that because you uploaded, you saw a little bit of hate and you went? Or is it just a case you just don't really watch much YouTube?
No, I usually upload and then don't check my video until the week after. But like in this case, like I would still like watch like reality TV shows on YouTube, like 90s reality TV shows. And like I would still watch YouTube. I never watch my friends. We talked a little bit about that, but yeah, I mean, I miss YouTube. I literally just texted my friend yesterday. I was like, I really miss watching YouTube because like I go to open it and then I'm like, oh, don't open it. And then I watch something weird on Netflix instead.
Do you think that, again, this is a weird question, in the last year, do you think that you've kind of like fell out of love with YouTube in a way? Because personally for me, when I see somebody getting in a controversy to do with like something like this, where they haven't done their research on promoting a product, it makes me think that you've come in for a cash grab here. Like it makes me think that you're just about making money on this sort of essence. And do you think that it's kind of kicked you back into touch with things? Because I feel like when people are on like a big high, that they're going in a level where they haven't been called out in ages. I think the last time you really had big drama was Rice Gum. But since then, I've never really seen much drama to do with you. But then this would just probably like kick you back into things like the community, like what they're saying and stuff. Like, do you think that?
Yeah, I think that the major thing this did for me was like I see a lot of comments about like, don't act like you didn't know the influence you had, and like don't act like you didn't know that like there's 6 million people like watching you. But like this situation reminded me that, because obviously I can walk around and be like, yeah, I have 6.5 million subscribers, but you can't really, that number's not real. If that makes sense. And I know that they're out there like watching, but I forgot how much actual influence I have, because to me, I like lost touch with that in the sense that I'm so far out of the YouTube community. I don't hang out with a lot of YouTubers. I try to hang out with like people who have like day-to-day jobs and my friends from high school and college and stuff like that. So this reminded me who I am and what influence I have and how many people are watching me, and that people will go just blindly buy a product just because I said that I like it and stuff like that. So as much as people are like, don't pretend that you don't know your influence, this was like, fuck, I do have a big influence and I have to be careful, and then put me back into touch with like what's important and like reality and like humans. And I don't know, I'm bad at articulating on the spot.
No, and I get that. And obviously when you have like your platform and influence, you like definitely need to realize the influence you have. Because like even myself, I remember a few days ago, I think it was on the New Year, I upset somebody because I followed like a couple fans back when I said retweet my video and I'll follow some of you back, and I followed some back, and then somebody kept adding me to all these chats, and I sent them like a fairly normal message. I was like, can you just please stop adding me to all these chats constantly, because it was like flooding up my phone, and it really upset them. And then that made me realize, well, even at 230,000 subs, I do have like a platform and an influence, and I need to realize that. So when like the audience hear this stuff, they'll think this is an excuse, for sure. Like most people will think that's an excuse. And I mean, it could be, personally, I think it could be received as an excuse, but also, even if it is, it's good that you definitely are going to learn from this.
Yeah, 100%. And the word excuse is interesting, and that's why I'm always like really careful to it's hard on the internet to like be careful with your words, because like it can be misconstrued. Like when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that because that's the way I was thinking that it's okay. Like I still know it was wrong, but that's the reason, like that's the explanation, but like it was still wrong, like but like I fucked up and like I felt horrible about it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, like how if like is it more of a thing that you're upset that you've hurt your fans? Because people would...
No, okay, wait, this is uncut and I'm like worried I'm gonna like like cry saying, because I hate like crying on camera in that way because it feels like ingenuine, but like genuinely fucking made me so sad that like the one girl, oh fuck, she like wanted to be like a makeup artist, and she was hoping that like she would get these brushes and it would help her like become a makeup artist, and then she spent her money on them and she's just like, these aren't like a good enough quality for me to do that. And that made me sad that like this girl spent her money on something, and it's because like, see, I don't even want to like play the victim here, but like I was super fucking poor, so like I understand like the value of $1. Like I've lost $5 before and like sobbed about it. Like if somebody spends $10, $20, $30, whatever, how many she bought, and she gets them and she essentially wasted $30, I don't like that. Like thinking about like kids, like they feel like they're our friends, you know, they look up to us, they talk to us, you know my story, you know my life, and you trust me. Like a few years ago, if I would have found out that like Jenna Marbles lied to me about something, I would have been destroyed. It would have made me look at her different. I would have been like, damn, I really spent fucking 3 years of my life watching this girl and she like lied to me. That would crush me. So like, yeah, I feel horrible about it, and like I've wanted to talk about it since, but I didn't know how, because like I addressed it without knowing what was going on, which was a mistake. All right, let's talk about Kenza Cosmetics. Now I saw somebody, or actually quite a few people, say I'm sure she never even held those brushes in her hand, which I absolutely did, because as you can see from the pile in front of you, I asked for samples. Afterwards, like right away, as soon as I found out, I wanted to come out and be like, I fucked up. There was so much I didn't know. I'm so sorry. But like, I didn't want people to think that I'm just backpedaling because I'm getting hate, because like I'm genuinely like sad about it. Like I'm upset that I like hurt people. I'm upset that people's like trust is broken. I'm upset that like it's not just me. Like I'm sure they're going to look at all YouTubers differently. Like every time you look at anybody promoting a product, like, can you really trust this? And that's sad.
Whenever, obviously, a YouTuber fucks up with a sponsorship, it's going to damage the website as a whole, because obviously people will perceive things differently. We've had like BetterHelp recently. They got called out for being shady. Now this. And obviously, it's not just bad on like the fans and the subscribers. It's also bad on creators, because a lot of creators rely on sponsorships. A lot of people, despite ad revenue kind of going back to normal, some people still don't get ad revenue and they still rely on sponsorships. And obviously, this will damage the trust between the fans and the YouTubers, because obviously then they're going to see them doing these sponsorships and be like, well, Gabbie or Tana, or even whoever was promoting BetterHelp, their sponsorships weren't very good. So, and they're going to begin to question everything. And there was that time on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, when somebody would get a sponsorship, they'd be like, oh, you're selling out, you're just in it for money. And I really hope it doesn't go back to that. And I hope these situations don't cause that. And I don't think it will. I think this will eventually be something which is seen as a short-term situation when it's all done and it gets blown over with. So the last thing I want to get onto is your Instagram, because a YouTuber recently came out called Angelika Rolls. She basically started saying that you're a bully and your fans are bullies, because basically somebody commented hate on one of your photos or something, and you screenshotted it and put it on your story.
It comes from a comment under one of her pictures which said, "No, we are really not wondering how full of yourself you are now to keep multiple selfies of the same thing." And she as in Gabbie Hanna, posted that screenshot on her Instagram story and circled the person and said, wow, some of these people out here really upset when they see someone confident and loving themselves.
Personally, I don't think you can do that when you have like such a big subscriber count.
No,
like,
you can't. And I agree with that. That's why I deleted it pretty fucking quickly. I remember actually pretty clearly about that situation, because I deleted it pretty quickly because I realized how fucked up it was. Because again, it's just one of those things like where you like forget the influence. And I remember the way I posted it to my story, I was trying to do it in a way where I was like, almost like fake, what's the word? Like I was like pretending like I was being the bigger person, but I was not. Does that make sense? Like I was saying it in a way where it was like, I haven't seen the video and I haven't seen the screenshots or anything, but I remember being just like, you know, there's no need to be negative, like fight, like if you're hurting inside, like, I hope you feel better. Like, it was something along the lines of like, I'm gonna be the bigger person, and it was not. It was horrible, because then of course my followers are gonna go attack her. And that's why I took it down, and I felt really bad about it, like awful. And then we had a conversation about it where, because I saw she was still in the comments after that whole thing happened, and she was in the comments, and then what kind of triggered me a little bit was, and like, this isn't me defending myself, but the story was, she was saying that I was anorexic and promoting negative body image. And it took me like a long time to get over my eating disorder. So at that time I had, oh fuck. I hate doing, like, I'm not playing the victim, people.
It's fine, like, people, it's at the end of the day, it's pretty much an uncut interview. And like, I feel like people want to hear what you have to say. Because like, as we were saying earlier, like, it's so weird on YouTube, because if you did that video about leaving things in 2018.
Actually want to hear, which is about my year. So I guess this is my year recap, because I feel like this entire year has been me seeing shit about myself and not talking about it, and then just kind of like pushing it down, and then it piling on top, and it kind of fed into itself. And I'm a very anxious person, and it's just been a rough year for a lot of reasons.
At first glance, when I first saw that video, I thought, okay, this is gonna be like her, like, I don't know, like basically playing the victim. And then I watched the video, and it was just you, like, pretty much pouring your heart out. I spoke to my friend Alex about that, as I mentioned earlier. Like, it was just, to me, a regular video, but a lot of people seem to be annoyed at that. And I'm not just saying that to the like people watching this now. I'm not just saying that because I'm here with Gabbie right now. I'm saying it because they're on YouTube. It's like a case of, you can pour your heart out, but people will think you're being manipulative. And it's getting to that point of where you can't say sorry because you're going to be criticized. And I think we need to make a distinction when somebody is being manipulative and not.
I just really don't think I'm like as manipulative as people think I am. I think I'm like, if anything, maybe just I should keep more to myself, because I just try to like live really honestly. But like, anyways, okay, so back to this girl. The timeline of it was, sometimes you just like get triggered and you ignore hate a lot, and as you should. I have a lot of followers and I shouldn't be sending people to attack. But she said this thing that like kind of triggered me, and then it was telling me I'm like anorexic and I'm inspiring girls to like change themselves and they're not okay with themselves. And at that point, that was when Honestly was coming out, and I had just like starved myself for like 2 weeks straight. And then all the comments were about how like my ass was flat because I like wasn't eating. So like, it was just like I try so hard to like promote like body positivity. So that comment just like triggered me because it took me so long to like get there. And you just like, sometimes you lash out and it's not right. And like, I felt really fucking bad, and that's why I took it down. And then I saw her comment. I was mostly following her comments to other people, and then I went to her page, and then she was like, well, she can't even answer her fucking messages because she's better, like she's too good to like look at her DMs. And like, the reality is I don't see DMs like that. Like, they're in the request folder, I have to go click it. So then I saw that she was DMing me. I went to her DMs, and I was like, okay, this can be like a learning experience for both of us. And I didn't want to just like blindly apologize, which maybe I should have. Maybe I should have just said like, hey, you don't have this huge platform. It wasn't right of me to post that. And that would have been the thing that I should have done. Is
I think you should have been like, yeah, I shouldn't have done this, because you shouldn't have done that. Like, I even if I did that, I feel like I would get called out on that.
And I think the thing is, I can't look at our DMs because she blocked me as we were talking. So I wish I could look, because I'm pretty sure I said in there like, listen, I'm really sorry I did this, but let's talk about this, because she DM'd me and she was just like, she was very upset, obviously. And she was just like, it's just my opinion. And I saw that that was something, my friend was messaging me about it. I don't think that opinions are hate. Like, that's not what I meant by that. But what I was saying was, your opinion can be hateful. And like, the two aren't mutually exclusive. And if you're going to say something hateful, you can't be like, well, it's just my opinion, because you can, you know what I mean? Like, I can walk up to you right now and say, you're really fucking ugly. That's just my opinion. Don't be upset. And that's what I was trying to explain to her, and it obviously came off not like that, and we were both very heated, and then, you know, I got blocked, and then I forgot about it. Like, I was just like, put it out of my mind, and I feel bad. Like, I feel... She's a kid. Also, I didn't know she was a kid.
I didn't know she was a kid until now.
No, yeah, because I saw someone say something about, like, you're abusing minors, and I thought she was a grown-up because of the type of photos that she was posting, and that's not me, like, judging her at all for what she's posting, but, like, I still don't know how old she is, but apparently she's a minor, and, like, it's fucked up. The whole thing was fucked up. I feel bad. It's not right. I have a massive fucking platform. Obviously, it's not the same as, like, you're in high school and somebody's talking shit, and you're just like, ah, fuck that guy. Like, that guy's talking shit. Like, it's just, I know I said this earlier, it's just, like, sometimes I fucking forget.
I think it comes from, like, the fact you were saying that you really don't pay too much attention to YouTube. You upload, you go. And I think it is a case of being out of touch in my eyes, and it is a case of, like, general naivety.
You know what's so funny and, like, ironic is, like, while I was, like, so involved with YouTube, people are like, oh, you're out of touch with reality, and now I'm so in touch with, like, reality that people are just like, you're too out of touch with YouTube, and I'm like, dude.
I mean, I always feel like nobody's perfect. Like, obviously, like, there's so many other YouTubers out there that mess up, and, like, mess up more than you, because I've spoken about so many people on multiple occasions, and it gets to the point of, like, they're doing something again, like Jake Paul this week with the gambling thing, and I'm like...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, you don't know about the Jake Paul gambling thing?
When I say, like, I'm unplugged, like, not on the internet, I mean, like, I don't know shit.
I think that shows, because that's, like, I think that's, like, the biggest thing this week, because H3 made a video about it and stuff, and all these people coming out. So I think that's quite indication to the people watching this now that you really aren't paying too much attention.
No.
And I feel like my advice personally would be, like, I don't know, spend, like, 30 minutes a day just saying, like, okay, what's happened today? Just to, like, in general, keeping tabs with things, because I feel like as a YouTuber, you kind of need to, because I think it would benefit in terms of, like, your channel as well. Like, I'm not, like, giving you, like, say, oh, you need to do this to get more views, but, like, I feel like if you, like, get more kind of, like, understand what's going on, it'll help you, because you're like, it's hard to explain. You'll kind of understand situations better, and maybe if you talk about it in a video, you'll understand it without, like, slipping up, is what I'm trying to say.
No, for sure. And I think that was, like, that's my biggest my biggest regret is fucking promoting Kenza and putting a fan on blast. Well, fan's a strong word, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, but, like, in terms of how I dealt with the situation, and the thing is, like, everybody was telling me to ignore it. Everybody's just like, ignore it, they'll get bored, whatever, they'll go away. And I was just like, but I feel like that's not fair to, like, ignore it. But then I addressed it in a way where I was going literally strictly off of DMs and tweets, and then, like, a couple YouTubers who were giving me the cliff notes, and then, like, personally, not, like, through videos. And then I just, like, went into it, like, incredibly uninformed. And because I was uninformed, I was angry, because I'm sitting here talking to Kenza, and Kenza's telling me, like, trust us, like, we can prove to you that this isn't true. And I'm like, okay, so, because the thing is, like, with YouTube, there's a lot of unjust criticism all the time. And whenever you're being hit with stuff that feels like it's just that, it's hard to take it, like, seriously, because it's just like, oh, this is just more, you know, like, this was coming off of You Watched My Leave It in 2018 video. Like, this entire year for me has just been people, like, hating on me for something. So I just thought it was that. And then I responded to it as that, and that's not what it was. Like, it was actually a legitimate issue.
You can tell in your video when you first responded that it was when I saw it, I was really confused, because at that time we'd never spoken, and I thought, for something that big, I said you just seemed to not care in that video, because you were just putting on your makeup, you weren't even looking at the camera, and obviously you were just doing your makeup, so you wouldn't. But it was a case of, like, I was like, that's really weird for me. But to know that you don't watch YouTube and stuff, like, I guess you definitely, it's a bit different, because you obviously didn't really know the gravity of the situation. Would you have responded like that still if you knew the gravity of the situation, like how it is now?
No. It would have been, first of all, I probably wouldn't have gone on YouTube about it, just because it was like, actually, I never really know when to do that, because I feel like if you post a YouTube video, people say you're seeking attention, but then if you, like, post, like, an Instagram post, people say, like, it's just Instagram, why aren't you just things on YouTube? So I never know how to, like, address shit. It's
gotten to the point where YouTubers are genuinely scared of apologizing now, because, like, they do a bad thing And it is always like, an apology is always going to be classed as damage control. Was that technically what it is? Because like, if this Kenza thing happened and like 1 or 2 people got annoyed, and like there would have been no reason for this whole controversy. Nobody would have made videos. You wouldn't have responded. And that's just the reality of the situation with things. It is a bit weird, and dehumanizing. It's kind of dehumanizing the fact that people are so scared to apologize nowadays.
Well, sometimes it just feels like, and I think that's kind of been my mindset for the past like few weeks or however long it's been. It's just like, I really do try not to be like a manipulative person, and I just want to be honest. And like, as soon as I found out the scope of the Kenza Cosmetics shit, I wanted to immediately come out and apologize. But I felt like there's no way anybody can possibly believe this is genuine.
Yeah.
Even if I am, because it looks like backpedaling, and it really does just feel like sometimes like you don't know what to do, and then like the YouTuber advice is always ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. And then you're like, well, I don't want to ignore it because people are upset. And then you like, it's hard. And like, again, not playing the victim, guys, don't shoot me. But like, it's hard to navigate when there's just so many factors to consider, and depending on what the tide is. And I feel, you know what I mean? It's just hard. And I'm not very good at dealing with anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting a post up now because there was one post on your Instagram which I saw. And I'm guessing like you're impulsive on Instagram because you put things up and you delete them. Is that a case of, is that?
I don't really know. I've never like really thought about it, and I feel like I'd have to like really introspect to like figure out if I was or not.
So on your Instagram, somebody messaged you and they sent you, welcome to the internet where people will say what they want and present as fact. Do you still stand by that after this whole situation? Would you still believe that there's people out there taking things and are misconstruing it as fact?
I mean, yeah. I'm not saying everybody does that, but of course there's people out there saying that. Like when my little sister texted me, that's my little sister. But then like the next move was she texted me and was like, oh my God, there's people out there saying that like I'm not actually your sister. And now people are saying that you like fake this text. And it's like, you know, there's always going to be people who will say what they want.
Yep.
And that's the stuff that you need to ignore. But I think that's kind of where I kind of got lost in this, because there are so many people like that when all of it is coming at you at once, it's hard to separate sometimes what is those people who are just saying stuff to say it and run with it and call it fact, and who are the people that are giving you genuine criticism. Because the way that I was being like tweeted at and messaged about the Kenza thing, it for the most part was coming from very like angry, hateful people who were saying, so you're a fucking scammer then and you're not going to address it? And I'm like, no, I'm not a scammer. Of course I'm not a scammer. And it's hard to see past that sometimes, because I feel like I'm pretty good with, I've always prided myself, and like people in my life prided me on like, you're so good at taking constructive criticism. And that's why this whole thing was so weird for me. But I realized like, even though I'm pretty great at taking constructive criticism, it turns out I have a lot of work to do in terms of recognizing constructive criticism. So once I like recognize it as like, oh, these people aren't just hating me, these people are like whatever, you know, like trying to help and like trying to get real answers, then I can respond better than I did, which in this case, because I was like talking to Kenza and they're telling me like, these are all lies, I'm like, wow, these are people just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill and like run with lies and rumors because they're bored. And that was my mindset, which again, we've gone over 12 times of being so redundant, but I just was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a good way to conclude this. Like, you genuinely do believe that you were wrong in this situation. And I feel like the whole thing would have been done and over with if you did just say that in your first video. But as you said, you were lied to by Kenza Cosmetics. And I didn't know that until this call. And so do you think that this will definitely help you in the future, as in like a learning experience, like a learning curve? And like in terms of like taking sponsorships, do you think...
Yeah, and I'm honestly like pretty upset with myself, because like that type of company, Kenza, has been messaging us for like a year now, like a ton of YouTubers, and I've seen other YouTubers doing it and I've never done it. And I finally decided to do it because somebody said to me like, oh, why don't you do it? And I was like, I don't know, I just like didn't know if people like cared about it or whatever. And they're just like, yeah, but like it's easy money and like the product's fine, so why not? Like you can just whatever. So then I just went with it because of that, and it was just like dumb. So now like I'm gonna trust my gut more. I'm gonna do more research on shit when people are approaching me with like, hey, I like bought this product and I don't like it or whatever it is. Like, I think from now on I need to give the viewer the benefit of the doubt that it is a constructive criticism and not just bat it off as like hate, if that makes sense.
But I mean, everyone brands like a critique, like a comment, as a hate comment, because that's just like the general phrase on YouTube at this point. But there is definitely a difference between criticism and hate. And I feel like hate is just commenting on someone's like post like, you're a fucking dickhead or something like that. And criticism is like, I don't think you've done good in this situation.
I agree.
And I think in this case, with what Kenza said to you, you may have believed that all these videos being made on you were in general hate videos and people just trying to reach. And obviously there's some people say some things in some of their videos, which I'm not going to name drop currently, but like some people said some things which I didn't agree with. The things that personally for me to like round this video up were just in case the whole thing about people losing their money with Kenza and then the Instagram thing. I feel like this whole thing is to do with impulsiveness and naivety. Like genuinely, that's all it is. There's no, in my eyes after this, there's no manipulation. You're not like this evil dark lord of YouTube. You're just a normal person who's doing YouTube and you've just pretty much been fucked over by a company.
Yeah, but I also...
No, I'm not like justifying what you're saying, but I'm just saying like, I still say you were naive in this situation, and I'm still saying that you should have handled this better, and you shouldn't have obviously called people out on your Instagram.
I just hope that in that section that it doesn't come off, because I know like I kind of like explained that story a lot and like how like, you know, I was hurt and I lashed out and it was a mistake and I erased it, but like it sounds a lot like defending myself. But like I hope people understand that I understand how fucked up that was and that it wasn't right, and like I regretted it immediately. And that's why I wanted to like try to have a conversation with her in her DMs when I saw that she was messaging me, and that obviously didn't go well because, you know, like emotions were already high, and it's embarrassing. If I could think of one word, it's embarrassing that I did that.
Yeah, I mean, it is like an impulsive thing you did, and it's still bad. And I would be embarrassed too. Like I wouldn't want to be called out for me like basically just saying, oh, this person's hating on me, like picking one hate comment out of like 1,000 hate comments, because everyone gets hate comments. So after this whole situation and stuff with like people are still obviously hating on you. I mean, I've looked at your channel, it's progressively getting better, and I don't think you're losing subs. But do you have like plans to address it on your channel, or is this what you want to end it here pretty much?
I don't want to address it on my channel because I think that, first of all, I've posted about it so many times already at this point, and I think people are getting sick of it from me. But also, I think if I was to post it on my channel, there's always a level of like, she's trying to do it for attention. She's, you know, trying to get views, or, you know, she edited that, or, you know, she's being manipulative. So, and the main reason I didn't want to do it on my own channel is because I'm not watching these hate videos, which, by the way, if everybody's like mad at me for not watching these, can I not say hate videos actually?
Critique videos?
Yeah, critique videos, because like I don't want people to think that I'm just watching the videos as like hate. Like I understand the critique. Hate video is just like the word for like, this person hates me. But yeah, like because I'm not like watching these videos about it, because honestly, like I'm a pussy ass bitch. Like I'm very emotional, I'm very sensitive, and I can't just like sit and watch a video of somebody ripping me apart for 20 minutes. So I feel like my biggest mistake was I was so uninformed, and then I addressed shit that I didn't know, so I wanted somebody to ask me. And now I feel like I think we've addressed everything that people are upset about.
Yeah, I think we've literally gone through everything. I watched a load of videos earlier trying to find some other stuff, and I can't find it, but I imagine there will be something which we've missed out on.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm gonna get shit, but I mean, I'm not bothered. This is different to me, and I said in 2019 I do want to do different things like this. Is there anything you'll like the final end to end this? I guess, are you gonna speak to Kenza Cosmetics anymore, or is it just done there?
I don't think there's anything I can say to Kenza Cosmetics anymore, because every time I've reached out to them, because I've been consistently talking to them, like it wasn't like I DM'd them that one time, or emailed them that one time about the DM and that was it. It was like, as I kept getting the messages, I was just like, there's still problems. And then it became apparent through like a week or two of emailing that I'm like, okay, they're giving me the same answer over and over and people are still upset. So like there's still something going on. And then I mean, they're not going to come out and be like, you're right, we were a fraud. So there's just no point.
Did everyone in the end get all their products then? Is that the case?
I genuinely don't know. The few people that I was specifically talking to and monitoring to see what the situation was got their brushes. As far as are there people out there who have not, I don't know, because I've been completely unplugged. And how could I possibly track it down, like me personally?
I mean, if people in the comments like people watching this right now, I would appreciate if people said in the comments, because like if they haven't got their brushes, people will say that you should do something about it. But I feel like it's best to go to Kenza, because then that really shows, if Kenza don't address the people that haven't got their brushes, then it really does show that it is specifically mainly them. I'm not taking the blame away from you, but Kenza definitely have a big part in this. It's kind of like a watered down like TanaCon thing, where Tana did fuck up in that situation, but also the people in charge were like messing around with that as well.
And I've also been trying to think of ways that I can personally make it better. And I have been talking to like other people, and I don't have like a team that does this shit. So like logistically, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how would I track down these people? How can I prove that this isn't someone just stealing screenshots from somebody else? How can I like actually make this better to people? And I'm still trying to like figure that out. And I almost posted something on Instagram about it where I'm like, listen, I'm trying to figure out how to fix it, but then I didn't, because I was like, I'm gonna make it worse for myself and I don't know how I'm gonna fix it yet. So like I'm trying to figure it out.
Maybe it is best to email Kenza and be like, just to get clarification. Then again, they've already told you.
All Kenza says is like, everybody's getting their orders. Like that's what they say.
People are watching this right now and you've genuinely like not got your products, just comment below, or even comment on your Instagram, I guess, be like, yeah, hey, but obviously show like some form of evidence, because like anyone can say it, and it is harder than people think. Like it really is harder than anyone.
Yeah, to like track down people, and like there's people who will like if Sarah tweets a screenshot, then like Amy might also take that screenshot and just repost. So it's difficult, but like I'm down to like figure it out, and that's why I haven't like said anything yet, because I'd like to actually figure it out before I say that I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. Because I'm actually not that impulsive either.
Just needs some form of way of doing it, which I'm not a business guy, I don't know, but it's nice to know that you have thought about that, because that was one thing I almost missed there, but I was meaning to ask that, and I'm sure that's something a lot of people did want to know as well, if everyone's got it. But I think we can end it there then. Thanks for coming on. And I
think I never gave the final thought. I just want to like make sure I make it so clear that I'm actually fucking sorry as fuck. And like I know that I was wrong, and if I came off as like trying to like defend myself or like making excuses, I know that like no matter what reason, no matter what like explanation I'm like giving, at the end of the day, I know 100% fact that I fucked up in a lot of ways. I am taking responsibility for it, even though I can say like the reason, like it's still my fault, period. And I'm sorry, and I don't think that this is gonna like fix my image, or I'm gonna like get all of these people to come back and like trust me, but I just wanted to move into this year having said it, because there's always this thing in the back of my head of like, should I address it? Should I address it? And I just want to live as honestly as possible, so here it is.
To be fair, you did say to me yesterday that this isn't about defending your image. You genuinely seem, but like when I was speaking to you yesterday on like voice messages, you genuinely seemed like gutted that you had like upset your fans and stuff. So it's nice to hear that. It's like, because I don't really speak to massive YouTubers and stuff, and everyone gets the perception that they are just so void from reality. But it is nice to know like people, they are thinking about their fans and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll end it here then. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Now, before I end this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Gabbie for coming on this channel. It's not often you see a big creator who's surrounded in controversy actually address the issues, especially address the issues with the person that is criticizing her. And secondly, I hope that this cleared up a lot for her fans and for in general the people that have lost their money. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't taken the blame away from Gabbie fully. I still think that she was very naive in this situation, and I still believe that she does need to do more research before she promotes a certain product or before she does anything on her YouTube channel, because when you have an audience like she does, such a big audience, you need to really do your research. But I think what this interview has shown is that Kenza Cosmetics not only screwed over her fans, but they also screwed over Gabbie Hanna. Now, as I said before, if you have not actually received your products from Kenza Cosmetics, please DM me on Instagram or just comment below with some form of evidence, because I do want to try my best to help people despite not being involved in it really. I think because of this interview, I really kind of have the right to. I want to help people somehow get their money back, or just in general get some clarification on this situation. Now, that is the end of the video, but I do just want to say that if you sat through this whole video and you only built your opinion at the end of the interview, then I genuinely am thankful for that, because it's not often that somebody will sit through an entire interview and just build the opinion after an hour long of conversation, because I wouldn't be surprised if some people did just come on this video and dislike it purely because Gabbie, or even unsub because Gabbie was in this video. So yeah, again, I am thankful, and if you want to give me your thoughts below, even if you don't agree with Gabbie, if you don't forgive her, that's completely fair enough. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section, or you can let me know your thoughts at Instagram at iNabber, or you can let me know your thoughts at Twitter at iNabberTV. And before I end the video, as always, I am going to thank my Patreons. Big thanks to Angelika, Arista, Isia, Anna, Alex, Bones, Brianna, Bug Badger, Clarissa, Cubeson, Thingy Dino, Dana, Elle, Ella, Emily, Evelyn, Hannah, Henry, Inochi, Jay, Jessica, Joe, Jillian, Jordan, Joanna, Lisa, Majestic, Michaela, Maya, Mary, Mel, Meredith, Michael, Mikkel, Neve, Nicole, Olivia, Aurelie, Quinn, Ramita, Rockstar, Rooster Bros, Riley, Sadie, Scrinder, Sandra, Scrubby, Celestina, Speedy Bear, Tales Hunter, Tonji, Christian, Zero Files, Images of Jade. Thank you so much for pledging to the Patreon. Thank you so much for sitting through my longest video ever, and probably will only be my longest ever video. And that is the end of it. And yeah, see you in the next one, people. Have a lovely day. Peace.